Nice one. And I'm recording. All right, guys, so welcome to this Mindset Mondays. This is the first official Mindset Mondays where we're actually going to discuss subjects. And today I wanted to talk about resilience. So normally we do Mindset Mondays every Monday, and then we do Science Fridays on Friday evening. And so the only issue with Science Fridays is that I can't do them live on Instagram because I do share screen on Facebook and on Zoom. So if you find that those talks are actually quite interesting to you, we are going to go and I'm going to add you to the group so you can then attend on Facebook and on Zoom and ask questions. Obviously, you can post your questions on here if you have. The discussions I wanted to have today about resilience is that we are pretty much all going through a bit of a shit time. And let's face it, we are tested on our resilience and how we handle all the challenges and really difficult situation that we're going through right now. So I thought that discussing it on sort of a more of a actual life coaching position. Obviously, I've done my research. I have friends who are NLP coaches. I also use actual psychology tools that I go and search from reputable sources, not free, actually sources that I have to pay for. That's in order for me to help my clients get better in their mindset in general. So for me, that's really helpful to dive a bit deeper in the psychology of your mindset. And that's what I was thinking of sharing it with you guys and sharing it live. So we are going to explain pretty much what resilience is, and you are going to actually actively take part in this talk. I'm going to give you a couple of exercises. I'm going to give you a couple of things to do for yourself, and you are probably going to need a pen and a paper. So go and grab quickly a little pen and a paper, just a basic pen and paper. We're just going to take some questions and take notes as well, because that might be really useful to you in the longer term. All right. So remember, any questions that you might have, do send them to me directly through the Zoom chat or the Facebook chat or here on Instagram. Okay. So let's start with a very nice, let me take my notes first. And I want you to take your pen and paper. All right, so all right. And we're going to do an exercise to actually define how resilient you feel. Yeah. So let's take your pen and paper. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Okay. Try and clear your mind as much as possible and try to be as unbiased as possible for yourself. Yeah. So as unbiased as possible. All right. So let's, this has been created by the late Al Siebert, who has got a PhD and who has founded the Resiliency Center in Portland in Oregon. So he developed a quick resilience test, and which is adapted from the book called Resilience Advantage. Okay, so I want you to rate yourself from 1, which is strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree. I'm going to actually do this with you guys, just because let's teamwork on that. Okay, so take your note, just take like your pen and paper, and you are going to rate yourself. All right, so let's go with statements which you strongly disagree or agree, 5. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go. The first is, I'm usually optimistic. I see difficulties as temporary and expect to overcome them. So write down, what do you think? Do you strongly agree with that statement or not? Okay. Second statement, feelings of anger, loss, and discouragement don't last long. The next one, I can tolerate high levels of ambiguity and uncertainty about situations. Ooh, this one is like super important right now, right? Next one. I adapt quickly to new developments. I'm curious. I ask questions. Next one. I am playful. I find the humor in rough situations, and I can laugh at myself. Next one. I learn valuable lessons from my experience and from the experiences of others. Next one. I'm good at solving problems. I'm good at making things work well. Next one. I am strong and durable. I hold up well during tough times. And last one. I've converted misfortune into good luck and found benefits in bad experiences. All right. I'm just going to quickly repeat those statements. Yeah, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. First one, number 1, I'm usually optimistic. I see difficulties are temporary and expect to overcome them. Number 2, feelings of anger, loss and discouragement don't last long. Number 3, I can tolerate high levels of ambiguity and uncertainty about situations. Number 4, I adapt quickly to new developments. I'm curious. I ask questions. Number 5, I am playful. I find the humor in rough situations and I can laugh at myself. Number 6, I learn valuable lessons from my experiences and from the experiences of others. Number 7, I'm good at solving problems. I'm good at making things work well. Number 8, I'm strong and durable. I hold up well during tough times. And number 9, I've converted misfortunes into good luck and found benefits in bad experiences. All right. So now let's have a look. So what you're doing now is scoring all of your totals. So you tally up everything. So if you, from 1 to 5, yeah, you were kind of like voting, putting yourself and deciding which one was applying to you, if you were agreeing, strongly disagreeing. So start making your tally. Okay, everybody's got their total? All right, now let's have a look at the results, okay? Okay, so if you replied under 20, if your tally is less than 20, you have low resilience. You may have trouble handling pressure, setbacks, may feel deeply hurt by criticism. When things don't go well, you might feel helpless, without hope. And basically, this is where you probably should try and get actual help from a professional to kind of amp up. That's when, like, right now is going to be very, very hard for you to deal with this situation, right? So if you're under 20, your resilience is not at the best and you are going to be struggling quite a fair bit right now. So if you're under 20 in the current situation we're at, I would suggest that you try and find ways to get some help. So obviously there are lots of resources which I tend to put up on the group and blogs and things like that. So just obviously you can ask me after in DM, I can send you, but I would recommend that because you need to develop resilience. And if you don't have any, I think it's super important that you do. So between 10 and 30, you have some resilience. So you have some valuable pro resiliency skills, but also plenty of room for improvement. Strive to strengthen the characteristic you already have and to cultivate the characteristic you lack. You may also wish to seek some outside coaching or support. If you have between 30 or 35, adequate resilience, you have You're a self-motivated learner who recovers well from most challenges. Learning more about resilience and consciously building your resiliency skills will empower you to find more joy in life, even in the face of adversity. And from 35 to 45, highly resilient, you bounce back well from life setback and can thrive even under pressure. You could be of service to others who are trying to cope better with adversity. All right, if you want to share your results with me, you can still comment even in the replays. You can still comment now. My result is at 35. So I'm basically between adequate and highly resilient. So I'm quite lucky in a way, because I've had a fair amount of difficulties in my lifetime that actually made me quite resilient. So I myself had been through quite a lot in my childhood, first off, but also I had to be very resilient when I had my surgery. So I had a lot of corrective surgeries when I was 10, 11, 12. I was in a wheelchair for quite a big part of my recovery. So I had to be quite resilient, and I was bullied at school for it as well, for being in a wheelchair and so on. So for me, resilience comes quite, I would say comes quite easy, but at the same time right now, if you want me to be honest with you, I get resilience exhaustion. That means that sometimes I just keep pushing and I keep pushing through, and then I get freaking exhausted. And at the moment, that's how I'm feeling a little bit. I feel exhausted of like being strong. It's very, very hard. So I think that's where I'm like not going from I'm still at I'll consider myself on the adequate, but not highly, because I sometimes forget to take care of myself in terms of being resilient. So this is what we're talking about in terms of resilience, is the ability to adapt and change and make the best out of the any situation. So any challenge that might come across, you try and take it as a lesson, as a learning opportunity, to make you and turn you into a better human, a better person. And right now we actually have to focus on that, because there is not a lot we can change in the current situation. Okay, we can't tell COVID to fuck off. That's not happening right now. Yeah, we know that. And we can't obviously change what the government is saying. We can't change the rules. We can't change anything. There's a lot of stuff that we can't actually change, and we don't really have much control over. So resilience is like finding this kind of peace and acceptance in the current environment, in the current situations, and trying to overturn all these challenges and struggles, and trying to turn them into opportunity and sort of benefit from it. So I know that sounds a lot more easier than said than done. Obviously it's very hard. For a lot of us, there is that resilience that we have to build around the financial scarcity and the issues of work uncertainty, and just the actually dealing with the uncertainty in general right now, I think, is what people really struggle with. So what we can do in terms of tools is it's quite nice. So you basically have to try, okay, I know it sounds really freaking lame, but we need to try and look towards the future. You need to still think about what you want from life, regardless of what the situation is right now. You have to believe that this shit is going to get better, and that you still have a future to look forward to. That's number one. You still have to take this vision for yourself. You still have to believe in your vision. You still have to believe that there is something after COVID. It's so important. There is something in life after this pandemic, and you got to believe it. You got to develop this mindset, which I see a lot of people don't have anymore. They see no end to it. They see everything getting worse by the day, and they don't really see an end to it. But there will be, and you have to believe that. You literally have to keep faith into it. Okay, you still need to establish goals. You need to still have life goals regardless, again, of the situation. Try and have some realistic goals, even if it is about learning a new skill and trying to do something from home right now, or even if it's just trying to take care of yourself a little bit more. Just try and have a few more goals. Okay. You also, the best way to build resilience around that is to plan coping strategies. So what I find is that most of us as well struggle to actually find healthy coping strategies. We just tend to like grab the bottle of wine, we tend to go for the ice cream, we tend to do all this sort of slightly unhealthy coping strategies. So try and define what coping strategies you actually find toxic and that are not helpful, and try and find better and healthier way to replace them with healthier coping strategies. So if you find that the days are really freaking long at work and that you always are taking like the bottle of wine after work, then maybe try and switch that habit for another habit, and maybe keep the wines on weekend, on Friday nights, maybe Thursday, Friday night, and maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, get yourself to put a 20-25 minute yoga class or something that will find you a way to feel still better about yourself, but is not going to build towards a toxic relationship towards yourself. Remember, you want to try and limit the self-sabotage during this time. It's quite difficult. I say that because I have to work on that myself. So if identify your toxic coping strategies and try and increase your positive and coping strategies that are going to benefit you rather than bring you down physically and mentally. Okay. Also identify your strength, be confident in yourself. Always, 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 always. Always realize that you are stronger than you think. Always realize that you do have strength and that you will make it through. You will make it through. And if you struggle with that, if you don't think you make it through, then that's why I've got this group on Facebook. That's why you can message me. That's why we do all these things. Obviously, it's not always that, everyone are able to help, because it's quite a lot. But you need to have like a network support, right? So also learning from experience, so that probably will come a bit later in the process. Maybe when we're going to start coming out of this whirlwind and this chaos, we're going to start realizing that it was a really good lesson, and you're going to realize how strong and resilient you have been during this time. And trust me, whenever you're going to have crazier times, whenever you're going to come across a challenge, you're going to feel like everything is a piece of cake, more or less, because you'd be like, right, I've been through worse right now. If you feel that this is literally one of the worst experience or worst time you're going through, trust me, you will be able to get through a lot in your life from this. This will impact you so much in such a positive way that you are going to have so much more reverence for life and gratitude for life after this. So this will be like a really good lesson. So also it's quite important to introduce positive way of thinking and focusing on the currently good things in your life. So focusing on what's actually working quite well, what is quite good, even if it's just about being able to sleep in, which we don't if you were always like going to work and waking up at a stupid amount of time, stupid o'clock, doing stupid amount of hours, or doing this or doing that. If you're struggling with the kids at home, I'm just trying and find ways to be like, right, at least I've got this, at least I've got that, at least I can wake up whenever I fucking want. There is always little things that we can be grateful for. So developing gratitude is increasingly important in this time, and I do recommend, because gratitude, I practice it every day. And even when the times are crap, it's every day that I practice gratitude. So this is like super, super important as well. Then you have to try and make time to do the things you enjoy. Yeah. So try and really, even if they've changed sometimes, like around the pandemic now and the lockdowns, your interest might have changed. I'm not doing any aerial hoop at the moment, and I don't really feel like training myself like I usually do when I've got the gym and when I've got the studio. However, there's a lot of other stuff that I really enjoy doing. I enjoy journaling a lot more, I enjoy reading a lot more. I enjoy just like spending time on my business a lot more. So those are things that you can amplify the stuff that make you and bring you joy. Does this bring you joy? Amplify it. Yeah. It sounds really silly, but it's actually, it makes sense, right? Take care of yourself, keep healthy, keep fit. Going back to also those coping mechanism, make sure that you still keep healthy, keep fit. I for one don't sleep very well and don't really take care of my sleep hygiene, and I know that I have to take care of that, for example. So again, identify and try and really take care of yourself and limit the damage physically and mentally as much as possible, because we can easily enter this sort of self-destruction cycle, and it's really, really not what we need right now. Really not, right? Then connect. You have to build healthy relationships with family, friends, and teachers. So this one, yes. So if you have a really good network support, and if you are okay being online, just go and connect and get your network support going. Yeah. And just like, don't hesitate to find a person that you can really offload, and that you can be the support network for someone else as well. Yeah, that's quite important. I think that, for me, I think it's quite important for me to connect with my flatmates and try and like go for walks with some people, because I spend so much time online that I'm not feeling like having long conversations online with friends and family, unfortunately, and that sucks a little bit. But I do things that make me feel connecting to people differently at the moment. So, and then we need to try and put the energy into the present moment. So we can't dwell on the past, because what we used to have and what was is not the same now. It's gone, and what will be is still uncertain. So again, you have the power to change the things that you can change in the now. Yeah. So this is like the sort of little tips. Yeah. Also, you can have, there's a really nice little resilience building plan worksheet that I will post on the group. I found this again, it's from the wellness program in the faculty in Australia, in Sydney, from a PhD again in psychiatry, which discuss like creating a plan for yourself and practicing the resilience skill. So it talks about recognizing the signs of stress. Where do you feel them in your body? What is your bad habit when stressed? So again, coping mechanism. And building physical hardiness, such as making small change to improve health. And for me, it can be really simple. It can be, even if it's just moving a little bit more, sleeping better, eating better, staying hydrated better, everything. It can be just one thing. Again, don't overwhelm yourself with a million things. It's one thing, but start with the one that you will matter most to you, and that is the most important to you. Strengthening relaxation responses. So find activities at home that help you relax, activities at work that help you relax, even when sitting down at the desk all day, here right now. Are you able to stand off your desk and take like 5 minutes break? Are you able to like go maybe outside and breathe some fresh air? Trying out relaxation strategies, mindfulness meditations, self-soothing by doing something comforting related to one of the 5 senses. I love doing this stuff. I've been discussing this when we do meditation, but even in life, in the daily life, what do you like that makes you, that comfort you? So it can be tactile, holding something, comforting and grounding, smelling something, looking at something, puppy videos, puppy photos, looking out towards the trees, auditory, music, sounds of nature, and taste, tea, chocolate, something. If you know that it's a bad coping mechanism, then change it for something else. For me, it's cuddling the cat. I always take moments to go and bother the cat and give him a big cuddle. So the cat is underneath my table. He's got his own like little king bed, and I go downstairs and I just give him a little cuddle. play with the cat. You know, that's grounding for me. Is very important. Using your strength, and that's also a little visualization exercise that you can do and that you can journal about. Describe a time you were able to overcome or handle a major challenge in your life. This is not the first time we are struggling or we are coming across a challenge. You've been there before. You probably don't realize it because this is quite a big one, and this is like a collective challenging time as well. So the empathy and the compassion towards other make you feel like it's more intense. It's obviously more intense. The vibe and energy right now is collectively heavy, right? It's like it is there for everyone. So obviously we feel that bouncing off each other as well. It's very, very, very strong. So, but you can still do retrospective work where you can remember time where you had to overcome or handle a major challenge in your life, and then try and journal about what did you learn about yourself during this challenging time. What personal strength did you draw upon? Yeah. And you can even draw an image of when you are at your most resilient. So it can be anything, like it can be a symbol, it can be like, you know, you doing a power pose, like whatever makes you feel like you identify yourself as a strong being. You can just visualize it as well. Close your eyes and visualize that inner strength within yourself. So we do this a lot during meditation. We kind of visualize ourselves as like different characters, and then all of a sudden we kind of build upon that strength and we visualize it. So you can draw an image or you can visualize. And then how can you apply and feel that strength now? So this is a really nice little exercise, and it's not complicated. Just visualize, try and draw that strength into your visualization and try to materialize it into this kind of world. So this is a really nice exercise when you feel like you need it. Increase positive emotions on a daily basis as much as possible. Obviously, try and decrease the negative emotions. So that can be, let's stop looking at the news, let's stop looking at Facebook and people arguing about BS. I'm trying to stay polite, but let's face it, I've not been very polite during this talk right now. But, you know, try and also have like gratitude. You can even, you know, practice gratitude is also reminding other people of like how grateful you are for them. So just maybe say thank you to someone who's been there for you, just anything. Just try and also list your accomplishment. Just kind of like have a look back as well on like what you've been able to do in the last year, and try also and draw back all the stuff that you've been learning and like how far you've come, or you've come already. We've survived like another year of craziness, and that's in itself is a big achievement. Engaging in meaningful activities, and try, so as I was saying, I explained to people as well to try and keep a diary. Even if you don't really have much to do, try and keep a diary where you try and like build up into a routine, because when you try and engage in meaningful activity, you try and remember your day. It's try to remember meaningful moments in your day, even if you're locked inside and that there is not much going on. Yeah. And try and associate these activities with the flow. So that sensation of flow is, for example, when you see dancers and they're just flowing through. Flow is associated with a sort of meditative state. So where you're doing something and you don't see time passing by. So try and find an activity that really create that flow. So countering unhelpful thinking, also bit of work. Write down what you're thinking about when you're stressed, and then ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen and how could I survive it? So I like to do a worry list like this. Sometimes it's really, really helpful. Writing a worry list, best that could happen, worst that could happen, most likely that could happen. What could I tell a friend in a similar situation? So if you had a friend that was in a similar situation that you're feeling right now, what would you tell them? If you can't stop thinking about a situation, write about it a couple of times over 4 weeks, about 15 minutes each time, and see how your story changes and becomes clearer. So this is one of the reasons I meditate every day right now, is because I've got mad anxiety. This has just been something that I've been dealing with from a young age. And the thing that is the most common with anxiety is like this clouded judgment, and all of a sudden everything just kind of you lose this sense of clarity. So it's quite important to take a step back and really kind of observe the thoughts that we're having, and kind of establish the, like, okay, what's actually real in that thought? How can I handle if this thing turns out to not work very well? How can I provide solutions to this problem? What's the best that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? What can I do if the worst happens, right? So it's important to have a look like this, and it's important to not be hard on ourselves and practice self-compassion. So important. Remember what someone who is inspiring to you, a hero, coach, mentor, that encourage you, especially when you are doubting yourself, and maybe write it down on a post-it or something and just leave it there. And just try and remember that you can take, so if someone say, I've seen you can take on anything, just put it up and just like watch it and repeat it to yourself like a mantra. Yeah. So always kind of like use anything positive to really nurture all that self-confidence when you are self-doubting yourself when you are coming across self-doubt. And then try and create this caring community. So remember, if you want to come into my Facebook group, this is a very, very safe space where we nurture people to feel like they can tell what they think, how they're feeling. We're trying to help each other feel better. We're trying to interact with each other a lot. And obviously find a support network, your community, work, colleagues, friends, family. Practice good communication. Try and minimize the conflicts as much as possible, the difficult conversation maybe as much as possible, what you can. Just try and really kind of help yourself stay into a positive bubble as much as possible, nurture the positive sides, and try and minimize the negative impact that it can have. Yeah. So that's pretty much how I wanted to approach this sort of a resilience training with you guys. I hope that you found this helpful. And I'm really hoping that this was useful. I will post the sheet, the resilience building plan worksheet, so the stuff that I've approached in the second part, and I will probably post a little quiz that we did at the beginning in the group as well. So please send me a DM and I will send you the link to access the group. It's called the Empowered Badass Club. It's amazing. We've got quite a lot going on every day, questions every day. We make sure we nurture everything to make sure that you are engaged and that you feel that you have a community to speak to and to connect with. And we do this Mindset Mondays talk, Science Fridays talk. And yeah, so now the Mindset Mondays will also be live on here. And I hope that this was really helpful. Any questions, any comment that you might have, just let me know. You can either DM me or comment. If you thought that this video was really helpful, just please make sure that you share it with other people and that you get to practice the exercises that I've just mentioned. And on this note, I will thank you very much, and I will wish you a really good Monday evening, and I will see you next week. The topic will be posted on the group and on Instagram, and I will try and bring some guests in as well, quite a lot, so lots of collaborations. But any topic, please do let me know. Send me your suggestion. I will do polls. So every talk will be based around what you want to talk about. I'll do the research for you. I will put everything for you. And this is what this is about. It's all about you and making sure that I answer everything that you need. So have a really nice evening, guys. Be your own kind of badass and go forth. Bye. All right, one thing at a time.